They say friends are the family you choose, and I think I chose this one right. In today's video, I sit down and have a conversation with a friend of mine, Lois. We have been friends for 15 years, and what a beautiful journey. I am excited to bring her. You learn how we met. What are the pillars of friendship? Some tools that you can take along in your friendships. And guess what? I too learn how to make new friends, because you know what? It's hard for me. But Lois is a well of wisdom, and you don't want to miss this. See you on the other side. Let's talk about the transition. Then you became a mom. Then we can, because then you got married, you became a mom. You talked about having.
I became a mom very quickly after I got married.
Yeah.
Literally.
And I was there for all threes the first time doing the pregnancy test.
Yes.
Except the last one.
We
Even
did
labors.
The first pregnancy test we were together.
Yeah.
The second pregnancy test we were together.
It was that.
I think the third one I did on my own.
But then you called me. I was in Kawe. No.
I can't
Even the labors. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've transitioned together. But do you feel like our friendship has become richer now that we are sort of in a similar season? Now that we are married, do you feel like you're better understood, or we're just still growing?
I think that there are things that you get with
a little better.
You've always been willing to understand, and there's always been this wisdom about you that even when you weren't in that season, you had built up enough wisdom about the season that you would eventually get to. So you were not like blank about it, and you still had this godly counsel to share. You still would base it on the word. So even if you didn't have experience in that area, you would ask, well, what does the word say? And so you had this sort of anchoring effect that even when I was emotional and just feeling out of my depth that this marriage thing is so hard, and then you were that friend who would just kind of bring me down.
Let's go
back to the basics, and what do we stand on? What do we believe? Yes.
Yeah.
And
that has been the greatest gift in this friendship. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah.
The fact that we can agree to disagree, but always agree to go back to the word.
Yes.
Like, okay, you see it that way, I see it this way. But what
does the word say? Yeah. And ultimately, that's our final authority.
That's our final authority.
Yeah.
I think that's the best.
And I think that's why we always kind of circle back, even when we differ. And then if the word says something, you're like, okay, we can't argue with this. So
it is what it is.
Fine. Yeah, I mean, we've had conversations about submission and what it means.
What it really means.
Yes. What does it look like in this century? Because we're in a very different generation from our parents. And so we've navigated the things that were passed down to us. And we've asked questions about what can we actually apply and what doesn't really sit with my circumstances. And obviously you get that and line it up with the word and ask yourself, okay, so what does God say about this? Yeah. And so you coming into this season now has been exciting for me.
We prayed so many times.
It's been amazing to watch your journey. Just so you know, I use you as an example. I don't tell them your name, but I'm just like, guys, I have a friend. When someone is going through the seasons that you went through before, and I'm like, you should meet my friend. My friend weathered these storms. These questions you're asking, yes, she asked them. We've been there, and because there are people who will tell me, no, but you got married so early, so you don't understand
what I'm
my loneliness. You don't no, I've walked through this season with someone and had a sneak peek into their, what they were experiencing.
And you mentored me through it as well, right? Through my single days, those 7 years, you literally mentored me through it. You just say no.
And we stayed true to the dream.
Yeah.
Until the dream was finally came.
That's what was so heartbreaking about you not being at the wedding. And it's it's understood
because I was pursuing another dream.
Seasons, and seasons. You're in a completely different season of your life, and you're just like tell someone to take videos. And like tell them to take videos and pictures and that.
And I was crying the whole time
because you're Lois.
Emotional, but in a very calm way,
beautiful
just so
way.
I could.
And that's what I mean, when I say, and I tell Moses sometimes, I wish I could be like Lois, she's so, like, you're graceful about
it. But then I wouldn't want you to be anything else.
And that's what makes this work. That's what makes it work. And I feel like I said, you mentored me through those 7 years. And like I'm saying, one of your greatest qualities is that you have such an open heart. Even when we felt like for a few years, our friendships from Ziale had sort of scattered. We met at a friend's wedding and we're like, we need to make it work again. And you're like, come into my home. And those friendships have become united again, not because you needed to call us, but you kept saying, my home is open anytime, come. And I don't think you are a mentor who is big on, let's sit down so that I can teach you. I feel like you mentor through your life, you mentor through your willingness to forgive. You're not one person who throws out a person. Before you close the door, you want all the facts. After the facts, let me hear your thought process behind the facts. When I hear your thought process, let me hear your emotions. Okay, now we have this. Where do you want to go? If you're willing to be better, you're always that friend who says, okay, I'll walk with you. And then if the person is just not willing, yes, you are always willing to say, okay, I'm willing. This is the season. I'll let it go. And we'll pick up. When you're ready, I'm always here. You're not one person to shut a person out. And I'm the complete opposite of that.
But there have been a few friendships where you open the door again.
But first it shuts. And again, and that's what I mean, you mentor through your life. I've had to see that when I can see it in your life, that it's possible to go through a difficult patch and have something beautiful out of a relationship, like a friendship where you've just constantly opened the door for people. And then I'm like, what would Lois do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you've mentored me through watching how you, like the way you parent. It's almost miraculous for me. Like you're committed to the children, you're committed to teaching them. I mean, before we got married, we used to talk about these things. Like when we have kids, bedtime stories, Christmas traditions, but just seeing you live it out. And these days, just work and I'm tired and I'm like, these kids will parent themselves when they come. But just seeing you, I feel like for me, you've mentored me through being. And it's been such a gift. So getting into a marriage wasn't that hard for me. Marriage is a complex institution. Not complex. You know how people, in fact, I don't like how they say, how when we say adulthood is a scam, and it's like marriage, the institution itself is hard. I don't think it's hard. I'm starting to think more it's complex.
Yeah.
Because we're bringing two very different individuals into that space.
Yeah.
And the way you live it out, the way you understand your place, not in a, you're not a pushover, right? You're very nice, you're very soft, but you're definitely not a pushover. So you know what your role is, and you've embraced it so well. And me watching you embrace that has given me a gift. And I'm a strong person. That I would defend my honor. I would do it myself. But watching you being a wife has taught me, Wube, you're emulating Christ. And it's not about you, ultimately. So you have to draw the line where it's about you, and then where is it about Christ. So I've learned that watching you, right?
I think I am so chuffed to hear that, because for the most part, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing.
No. You always, Lois, this is what you always do. If you can't find it in a sermon, if you can't find it in a book, you still go back to the word, right? And
if you can't read the word, you're always in a posture of, Lord, what are we doing now? Like, just tell me what we need to do now. And that's the being I'm talking about. It's not about you preparing your husband a meal or not talking back at him. It's like you've always known that the marriage is bigger than you. It's ministry. You've always known this. You've always been, look, what I'm doing affects an entire generation. What does it mean to the children I'm living with? Even your home. You know, you always have this ministry perspective about life. You're like, okay, I need to speak to this person. They're going through a difficult time. You always make time. You like, life is busy, but you'll be like, oh, I'm so tired. But this person has a funeral. I'm going to see them. So it's your being that mentors, that continues to mentor me. But as you know, outside of this relationship, there might have been a disaster. Because you live out Christianity. You don't believe in that Christianity at Sunday morning. No, you're like, what does Christianity mean every day in my marriage, to my children, to my friends? And and you forgive. I'm just like, everyone should be. Me on the other hand.
I think that's a slight exaggeration in my opinion.
Absolutely not. And I think if we sat down and spoke with other friends, and we should do that at some point, so that it's not a slight exaggeration, you have a grace about it. I mean, I'm not saying you're perfect. You have your flaws, but I think the good outweighs the bad any day. Any given Sunday. I think like the good outweighs the bad, because like you say, we're all a work in progress, but this friendship has meant so much. It's been learning.
Okay, let me try not to cry.
That's what I'm also trying to do.
I will not cry.
We're so kind to each other with words, but I don't think we've ever had like looking back on
and you know, it's funny when you talk like this, it seems like Lois has been the hero of this friendship, but you have no idea. Life, work in progress
all the time.
But we get up, we start again, and I think that you find your stability. So it's funny how you paint that picture, because for me, you have been someone who has been through from the time I met you. You've been through every season with me. There have been no seasons of absence or silence. Yes, you have been the picture of consistency. You have stayed.
I told you, where am I going to go? Not making
this one
we're letting it
clearly
go.
But you have been consistent, and you have grown with me.
We've grown together for sure.
My life has been changing, and there are times my life sort of spins into this sort of chaotic mode because of all the things I'm taking on.
To juggle.
Yes, and with each child that has come, you have made room in your life for each little person that got added. I mean, I've had friendships where, your friend wants you, but not all the extra stuff you come with. There are friends who I can't visit with the kids because it's inconvenient. But you have embraced the inconvenience, the mess. There were many times that you would come to my home and I was going through stuff. The house was a mess.
Then we start cleaning.
Yes, and we start cleaning together and you're doing dishes. I remember when I had Ndinawe and then my maid disappeared, put the disappearing act on me, and I was in the middle of a postgraduate diploma at Ziale. And Ziale is never easy, whichever place.
I don't even know what.
And I remember, you came over. I had been telling you, I am exhausted. I have school, I have work,
and the baby.
And then there's the baby. She was, she was still little, and I was so stressed. And I remember you came one afternoon, you did dishes, and you were cleaning, and I was about to lose my mind. And you're the one person who just stepped in. You saw the need. You came in the middle of the mess.
Yeah.
And you've just always been consistent.
I think
consistently there. What are you going through? How can I help you? How can I support you? That's a statement you've made many times and have meant it. And whatever I ask of you, you have always been in a place where
it's like you're saying my thoughts.
Yeah, so it's really been an iron sharpens iron kind of friendship where we have both needed each other. We've both had to set
in ways we can't even explain here.
We've both had to set each other straight. When one of us was going off tangent, maybe angry or feeling grief or just in a season where you couldn't really see clearly. And we both had to be to each other that voice, and just sort of walk each other through some difficult seasons and remind each other of what we believe, what we hold true, reminding each other of who we are on the inside.
Because sometimes we forget, you know, sometimes when you're going through a difficult season, the light dims. And you need someone to hold it up for you. And I think you've definitely been that for me.
And you've been that for me, you know.
I can always come back here.
Yeah, funny enough, you know, even when you were single and I was married, I obviously couldn't give you too many details, but there were moments you knew I was struggling. There were moments you knew, oh, she is so mad at her husband right now. She looks like she wants to go back to her mom.
And the things we couldn't, even if we couldn't talk about, and there's certain boundaries that we knew can't be crossed. And there were days when we said, I'm going through a hard time.
I can't tell you all the details,
but it's just hard for me.
Yeah, and you prayed for me.
Yeah, and you prayed for me. It's like I'm too ashamed to say right now, but and so do you remember when we're still at Unza, and a few times we did prayer walks, like it's just hard, this is heavy, and then we just pray and the heart would just be light, and just knowing that you're not alone. Oh man.
Yeah, I mean, so many memories from Unza, from the boarding house, from when you were there, and then eventually I went there. And also just the fact that we even parted ways in fourth year. But the friendship
still stayed solid. I came back and got notes from you. I need to go to coffee. I'm so frustrated. I don't have what I need.
So it's been a beautiful friendship. It's been, you know, I can't even put my finger on, like, what were the bad times? They've totally been overshadowed.
Because no matter what it was, there was growth out of it. There's always been growth. And there's just that knowing, what's that phrase that you like to say? You like to say, till our teeth
fall out.
We're in this for
the plan is to get all together and just, you know, there's a commitment from both of us to be there no matter what, wherever life takes us. We're committed to this friendship. And I think that in this day and age of like fake people and everything, this is a treasure.
Fake everything.
Yes, fake everything. Everything is for the lights and the cameras and so to have built a friendship that has lasted all these years is still going strong and there's so much to look forward to.
Still. So many dreams.
Because we're still work in progress. And so there's a lot of work and progress to witness.
Absolutely.
That's a really beautiful thing.
It's been beautiful and I've loved the mountains and the valleys. And I think it's a gift a lot of people sadly won't experience, especially in this generation, in the age of social media. We transitioned, like you're saying, through a time when, I mean, internet had come, but it wasn't the way it is now.
No. And at the beginning of our friendship, there was a deliberate decision to sit together, face to face, and talk, learn each other, so that even now we can pick facial expressions and know she's not okay. She's smiling, but
something's off.
And it was that time spent together. And and now what I love also is how that I don't think we misunderstand each other's texts.
Absolutely not. You know,
we can have like a complex conversation via text.
And no one's like, oh,
what did you mean? Or getting angry and misinterpreting.
No.
Because,
and I think it comes with knowing your friend's heart.
Yeah.
I think it definitely comes in.
Yeah.
If you could teach someone how to build a friendship, what would you tell them? You already talked about the boundaries, about guarding your heart, right? But would you say, like for me, I was like, that girl's going to be my friend. How do you, I mean, you are open to making new friends. How would you teach me to make a new friend?
I would say just come as you are. I think maybe now in this generation, people overthink things. I think that there's a lot of insecurities of what if they see this side of me and they don't like it. If they don't like it, they were not meant to be your friend. So there's this, bring yourself as you are. You don't have to pour out all your secrets on day one. But bring your true, genuine self. And, you know, a person who's genuinely looking for a friend will pick that genuineness in your heart to connect. And so this thing of, you know, we want to put our best foot forward.
Yeah.
It doesn't really serve you in the long run, because over time this person gets used to seeing you in a certain light. And when the real you starts to come out, things start to unravel. So you just have to be you. And so I would say the first step is knowing your insecurities that you want to cover up and you don't want other people to see.
Know thyself.
Know yourself. And if you realize that you have these things you don't want anyone to see, I think do some work to really try and figure out, is this something I can deal with and let go of? Or as I'm progressively dealing with it, can I let another person in on this struggle? Because we hide so much of ourselves and we end up not having genuine friendships.
True.
And so in wanting to show who you are, I think try and figure out, is this something that's temporal? Am I dealing with a temporal insecurity? Is it something I can deal with before I get into a relationship, so that I'm not even trying to cover it up? I think that we jump into friendships, and we aren't really working on ourselves. I think it's a sort of a simultaneous thing. Friendships come, they don't have a timeline. Sometimes you meet a person and you just click. But sometimes you push them away with your insecurities and the stuff that comes out that they didn't see before. And then they are shocked, like, So there's, it's friendship can be complex, but it can also be very simple. And I think just
I like
being
the simplicity
genuine.
of what ours has been.
Yeah.
It felt like it's the last 15 years have felt effortless.
Yes. And I think true friendship should be effortless. And there should be it should be a place of safety. I should be able to be myself with you.
Exactly.
That's really what friendship should be. Safety. And so that's why from the beginning you just have to, I think we're not comfortable being ourselves. We always want to try and be what we think the other person wants us to be. But then that's just basing the whole friendship on something that's not real.
That's a problem.
So you just from the beginning have to be you. If you're a loudmouth,
Just
be a loudmouth. You know, like you have said, I always wanted to be like you. I love people who are loud.
Because you're also like, wow, maybe if I could be so
express myself like that. Like I just thought that, I just couldn't say it in those words. I love the different types of people in the world. We are so different. And when people tell me they want to be like me, I'm just like, are you sure? Are you really sure? Just be you. You know, if you are sensitive, be sensitive. I think find the freedom to be yourself and to bring your most authentic self to every experience. If the person is authentically connecting with you, I think that friendship will last. If they are not, okay, we win some, we lose some. We walk away and we say, okay, maybe that friendship wasn't meant to be, but I never lied to this person about who I am, what my values are, what I believe in. And I think our friendship was so effortless because we believed the same things. And no one was lying about what they believed or trying to impress the other. It was just a
take it or leave it.
Yeah. And as we got to discover and have conversations, it was like, you believe that too?
Yeah.
Really? No, I always thought this. You know? And I think there were many conversations where we would be like
so many aha moments. Yes. Yeah.
Like you just echoed my heart. Yeah. So, authenticity for me is just the most important thing. And when we look at our relationships with our husbands, authenticity.
Again,
yes.
That's what rings true. Again. It's just, we always come to the table as we are.
Yeah.
You come here just open. Okay? We're not here to impress each other.
No, this is who I am.
Yeah.
These are my standards. I am an idealist. I would like you to know from the beginning that I build castles in the sky sometimes. So let me know, can you deal with this? Can you love this? If you can't, you can
that's so true.
gracefully walk away.
We didn't hide. Something both of us did with our spouses was like the Spanish Inquisition. Do you believe in this?
Yes. I think that maybe one day we should bring them on. And then they have to testify about how hard it was in the beginning.
And Moses was just ask me all the questions in one sitting, because it's like
these questions just keep on coming out. And because we were trying to establish, can I be safe with you? Can I trust you? Because really that's what friendship is about. It's like this hedge around your lives that you it's a fortress. Friendship is a fortress that, when the storms of life come and life is hard.
And it gets hard.
A true friendship holds you through those tough times and doesn't let go.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
You hold on to each other. You hold on to your friendship. You hold on to God.
Thank you so much for doing this, friend.
Thank you for having me.
Till our teeth
fall out.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. Until the next one.
I've enjoyed this.
I have enjoyed
a trip down memory lane. It's been really
15 years, huh?
A reminder.
Wow.